We drop bombs. What's up? Facebook fam, Instagram fam, TikTok fam. What's going on? What's going on? Ooh, boy, what a day, what a day, what a day, what a day. It's like that picture quality is it's a little bit sharper on camera too. What's going on? Facebook fam, TikTok, Clapper, IG. This is your brother Ben J W. We in here today. 6:30. What time is it? 6:53. We here. We here today. We here today. Yes. So yeah, how you guys' day went today? Mine went absolutely outstanding. You know, went to two church services today, and both of them was beautiful. One was a youth service, and the other one was a awesome talk that I'd like to share with you guys. A topic came to my mind, and it had me to pose a question to myself. As you see on the title, character and capacity. So the topic today at service number 1, the speaker said, God has the character and capacity to do what he says he's going to do. He has the character and the capacity. You know, the character means that, when God says something, God's word is bond is life. God is about practicing what he said he's going to do, because that's his character. He has the capacity to follow through what he's going to do, because he's God. So how did I internalize that in my life? A lot of times we say stuff and we profess things that come out of our mouth, but we don't have A, the character, B, the capacity to say what we say we're going to do. We don't have it. I was given something to stick by as it relates to honoring your word. And this was a principle given to me, by my mentor. And it poses a question. Have you not learned that your word is bond? And bond is life, and you should be willing to give your life before your word should fail. I mean, if all of us live by that principle, we would be better people, including myself. But we don't, and therein lies what the issues are that are in our personal life, in our family life, our business life, community, town, city, country. Man, we just don't honor our word. That's one of the reasons why you see the things that's happening in our community. The way that it happens, we just not a people of our word. Period. I'm starting with me. You know, as I stated on previous broadcasts, I mean, whatever I see that concerns me outside of me, I look inside and ask myself two questions. Ben, are you like that? Or Ben, have you ever been like that? And then I would have to say 9 times out of 10, yeah. So I would have to go back to my spiritual drawing board and clean some stuff up. But character and capacity, do we have it? And if we don't have it, how do we get it? How do you obtain character and capacity in order for you to follow through with things you say you're going to do? How do you do it? %85 of the population don't operate with the character and capacity to do the things you say you're going to do as it relates to striving to do right, as it relates to follow divine law, as it relates to love your neighbor as you love yourself. 85% of the population don't have the character or the capacity to do it. If we did, you would see it. And depending on the condition of your heart and mind, if you're not a humble person, boy, you would be totally confused, operating in a dysfunctional state and thinking you are right. And you're not. Character and capacity. All this week, I've been traveling throughout the city of New Orleans, West Bank, East Bank. Sometimes it would be St. Bernard Parish. I plan to go out into St. Tammany Parish. I want to venture out into Belle Chase, and just to get a good feel of Louisiana again, right? I haven't been in this state in 8 years. I just need to get a feel of what's going on, man. Just get a good gauge of the temperature of what's going on in different segments of the population in the state of Louisiana, and particularly in the New Orleans / West Bank, St. Tammany Parish, St. Bernard Parish, Jefferson Parish, Orleans Parish. And through my travel throughout these different areas, man, I've experienced, things that'll make me disappointed, you know what I mean, with the people and the way we do things here. And in some cases, the people who commit the infractions, the negative interactions, is just so confused that they think that they're doing right, but they're not. And in every interaction, some of them I might have to get a little stern with them. Some of them I'm a little, But in most cases, I'd be like, wow. See, that's why the outside world view us the way they view us. I'm talking about in New Orleans. I mean, the outside world views us, they like us because of the entertainment aspect, but I mean, the business of life, you could talk to any out of towner, man, and people that going to school here and, attempted to raise a family and have a career in this area is a challenge. Because the people in New Orleans are unique. I mean, it's kind of like we stuck in our ways, even though the ways has never worked in terms of benefiting the people that live here. Outside of food, entertainment, hotel, tourism, no. %85 of our population are people who lack the knowledge of themselves. They don't know their origin in this world. They take stuff for face value. Hard neck, stiff neck, hard-headed, rebellious people that are easier to lead in the wrong way, hard to lead in the right way. So how does one within that particular segment of the population obtain character and capacity to do what you say you're going to do as it relates to following divine law, as it relates to your claim that you love God and Jesus and all of this other stuff that we say? Do you have the character and the capacity to follow through on what you claim or what you profess out of your mouth? 9 times out of 10 we don't. 85% of the population are blind, deaf, and people that's just they don't know. Now, never really talked about the 10%, and I'm not going to go into that tonight. It's like 7 o'clock Eastern time. Central Standard Time. I just wanted to hit on a couple of points, and maybe I might revisit it. So the 10% of the population understand and studies the 85% of the population. And they do things to enrich themselves to keep the 85% where the 85% is. I'm a personal trainer. And I try my best, man, not to stay outside of the 85%, because that, it's hard, because 85% is damn near, but I try to stay outside of the 85%. And sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. But during this week, yeah, it's all interaction with the 85%. Yeah, I don't know what he just sent me. It looked like they're going back and forth, 7:30, 7:45. So, yeah, that's my little meeting. So, yeah, man. So the experience I had today, and I posed this question to another person. I was like, you know what? I don't have the character and the capacity to use my God-given talents in order to make a positive impact in my community. And what happens is we let others that are from outside of our community come in and they do some work. But because you're not of it, you won't do the things that a person would do that's of the community, even though that you're doing good stuff. You know, generally, I mean, you're doing good things. But because you're not of the community, you're coming in from the outside wanting to do service. So you won't get the type of service that the people could utilize if it's coming from somebody that's of the community, of it, of which you're trying to serve. And the sad fact is, many of us in certain segments of the community and population, because we don't have the character and the capacity to follow through out on stuff, things that we say we want to do, we let people, other people, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it, but I mean, you know, we let other people from outside of our community come in and do things, and then we look at it in the background and be like, this, see what they're doing over there. But we don't have the character and capacity to even do nothing. You know what I mean, for our community. If we did, we would have done things, but we don't. First thing is first, you have to obtain a thorough knowledge of yourself, number one, a thorough knowledge of God in self that's so intertwined into that process. And you have to make up your mind that you are going to give your will over entirely to God. Especially if you're trying to get out of the 85%. Because you so confused and arrogant and discombobulated in your mind that you think you doing something right, but in all actuality, you're not. I talk to a lot of people in the so-called woke community, a conscious community, stuff we be trying to do business with. And some of these people know the demographical makeup of an 85%, 10%, 5%. And they have it in their minds that they're not a part of an 85%. But if you study their activities, yeah, you are. And therein lies the issue. That's why it's no progress. Because when you think that you have overcame or you're not of it, I mean, as long as you have problems that still exist in your own neighborhood, in your own community, in your own state, city, country, yeah. You're not above none of that. Because you are a product of what you see. It may not be labeled, exactly how you would label somebody that go out here and commit this, and maybe you don't do it, but the behavior is the same. It's the same behavior. So don't think you outside of that. I had a couple of different incidents on Saturday. I'm like, wow. I had to just kind of recenter myself and express my gratitude to the guy, because if not, I probably because at parts of my day I'm like, man, I'm about to roll up. I thought about it. I was like, nah, let me rise above emotions into the thinking of God. But it's like, but yeah, man, this weekend was interesting. Uh, Thursday, Friday was interesting. Going into Saturday and Sunday, was interesting. It made me realize, hey, man, you back in New Orleans, uh, and it made me realize that there's some work that needs to be done, within me, and hopefully, I can have enough strength to start to be of service to those that are in need. That's kind of what my goal is, really. But sometimes I have to step outside of myself and be like Jesus and look at a person and not condemn the person, and to see where we can connect and see where I can be of service to the person. Because it's easy for us to look at something and say, man, look, I don't even want to be, I don't even want to deal with that. Easy for us to do that. A lot of stuff going on in our world right now. It's a lot of stuff that we can improve, but like how I was sharing with a person that I was talking to on Saturday, and they was like, yeah, well, I know the issues going on in the city is the police. Could be. But I said, hey, my mentor told me, and you guys heard me say this, and I quote, the problem with people, the problem within the community is spiritual, that necessitates a spiritual solution. I've said that many a times in many different conversations, and some people get it, some people just be quiet and go off on describing the effects but not understanding what the cause is, which the issue would never be removed if you don't understand the cause. If you consistently treat the effects, it's the police, it's the politicians, it don't matter what title you're talking about. If we don't get the spiritual point down, we ain't got no chance. You can just hang it up. It'll never improve. It ain't no vote. It ain't no politician. It ain't no reverend. It ain't no pastor and all of this other stuff. It individually starts with the individual that's making up their mind and say, like a covenant, to you, yourself, and your higher power, giving myself over totally. I need to repair my spiritual muscle. It's damaged right now. I need to go into spiritual boot camp. We have examples. We have Jesus. We have different figures, prophets, messengers that'll give us guidance as to how we should go into our spiritual boot camp for repair. I want to say, once you sincerely go down that road, you're going to start seeing some changes. You might be blessed with the spirit of discernment, which is key. Going throughout this world, because there's a lot of deceptive things that'll have you thinking you're doing right, in all actuality, you're not. And I have to constantly remind myself, thank Jesus, thank God, rise above emotions into the think of God, into the thinking of God, so that I could develop and progress. You know, not judge people. You know what I mean? Uh, you know, don't think that you different from somebody because they do this particular act and you don't, but the behavior is the same. you know. And the fact of the matter is the people that are being oppressed the most are the ones, in a sense, need the immediate help, but because, the condition of the heart and the mind is not open, you're not humble enough to receive information that could aid you in self correction. Character and capacity. So, my goal is from this talk that the speaker did at the church I went to today, my first service, and that made me realize and understand I didn't have the character or capacity to do the things that I said, or that I wanted to do, and whatever, in community, family life, or whatever. They didn't have the character or capacity to do it. So I don't want you guys to fool yourselves. Thinking if you see an issue in your community that, oh yeah, this should be, you don't have the character and capacity, it's not gonna happen. You have to build capacity. So what is capacity? Capacity could be, developing a skill set, a new skill set, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know what I mean? That you're building yourself up so that you can address issues in your community. Character, spiritual development. You know what I mean? Being a person of your word, integrity, honesty, character. Many of us don't have it. I talked to a lady. I talked to a bus driver the other day in New Orleans, and she was saying something about the director of New Orleans because he was doing this and all that. Man, we just continue, man, just to make stuff worse. And when stuff happens to a certain segment of the community, and we all up in the uproar, like, man, but come on. It's a double-edged sword. It's coming from outside and it's coming from inside. Politically, again, Like my mentor said, the problem is a spiritual one that necessitates a spiritual solution. But until we get that, we're hanging up. And the second part of that is family. You know, strong family, strong community, strong community, strong city, strong city, strong state. This family, man. You know? How many of you guys out there that I've talked to and we talked about, oh man, our family do this, our family do that. You know, dysfunctional family. And you know what undergirds all of that? What really perpetuates a dysfunctional family? Is sin. If you don't have the character and the capacity, your comprehension level of what that is and how does that affect you, that's why you see what you see. Sin. Character and capacity. Do you have that in order for you to do what you say that you're going to do? Do you have the character and capacity like God has to follow through to what you say that you're going to do? Do you have the character and capacity to honor your word? I mean, I question that with many interactions that I've had last week. You know, I mean, I have a guy that an idea came to me. I was like, man, I might, because I was trying to do like a kids fit camp, and I was like, man, maybe I might want to get back into the bounce house programs. You know what I mean? Bounce house for the children. And I called the brother because I remember back in the days, he saw how we were doing the indoor bounce facility and he started to do the mobile. And I kind of thought he would have had maybe, some still in storage. Character and capacity. Sometimes we don't even realize, the things that we do, I simply asked the brother, I said, hey, you still storing bounce houses? Yeah, I still, yeah. I mean, I have one, but I have a hookup where I can get them. He was like, nah, I don't really have time to do it now because I need to stay in my lane because such and such and whatever. I simply asked the brother, I was like, 7:25, so I'm gonna close up in 2 minutes. I gotta hit a meeting. I simply asked the brother, I said, well, why don't you send me pictures of them blown up? Because now I'm thinking, I say, okay, so what can I do? Okay, if he has a connect. And after I got off the phone, I realized I was like, nah, that's not the person. Just, I don't know. I mean, I might talk to this person good one day and won't hear from him for the next 2 months. Character and capacity. And this is a person that so-called themselves of the so-called woke conscious, whatever you want to say. But ain't really, nah. So they can get a call or they can get a text. They can get no pictures or nothing. Am I going to try to reach out? No. Because I know this person has a history of not honoring their word. I mean, whether it be a call back or a text back or, you just have a history of not doing that. character, and capacity. So what did I learn from this week? I learned a couple of things. I learned to have patience and understanding with people. I learned not to take my ball and go home if I have a negative interaction. Like how my mentor, suggested I should handle difficult people, learn to look past the fault, identify the need, address the person's need, suffice the need, and you crush the fault. He also said to look for the God in the person when you're dealing with difficult people. Character and capacity, and I've learned that I should strive hard to do the will of God every single day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, for the rest of my life, so that I can build my character and capacity in order for me to do what I say I want to do. So with that being said, I'm about to log out. Be on the lookout for the mental health ministry podcast. I still have to put that up. We're still working on it now, so we still have to put that up. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, but be on the lookout for that. Spotify and Anchor is under Synergy Fitness 365. I might change that up. I might put the Mental Health Ministry podcast on Podbean and keep the Synergy Fitness 365 Health and Wellness on Spotify and Anchor. I don't know. I have to see what's going to work. So with that being said, have a blessed evening. This is your brother, Ben JW. Peace out.